So please take your seats. Welcome back. I hope you still have some energy for our last sessions. Yes, hopefully. Yeah, welcome back after our coffee and tea break. We will get straight back into our next session, the Action Platform review of the successful launch year. So therefore, I'd like to ask to come to me on stage Jelena Slobodniak, Lead Product Manager at Prewave. Hello, Jelena. And Eden Neary, Project Manager at Prewave. Come to me, then we will pause here. Welcome. They will do the session together with Alberto Sartori. He's Global Product Manager in TÜV Süd with 20 years of experience in sustainability-related assurance, auditing, and certification programs. Alberto has guided companies in fostering responsible business practices through ethical audits and other assessment activities. Also on stage will be CEO of Quizzer, Erika Wennerström. Erika leads a workforce learning platform enabling companies to make salient social risk factors data-driven and addressable at scale. Before joining Quizzer, Erika spent 10 years in a manufacturing space in Asia. Then we will also have on stage afterwards Gina Wang. Gina Wang has been working as a program manager, supplier focus in the past 10 years at Quizzer. She's an expert in multicultural communication, business development, and digital learning. Then we will also have again on stage Stefan Reit of Porsche Holding. You know him already, and you also know already Sebastian Rünz of Taylor and Wessing. So the stage is yours.
Thank you. So my name is Jelena, and I'm a product manager in charge of building actions and the action platform. And today I want to tell you a story of what we've done so far, of what we will do, and all the valued experience that we have congregated with our partners and with our customers. And with that story, I will also tell how we are bridging the gap between the risk and the actionable measure, and how the core of our philosophy here are actually partners. The action platform leverages the network effect, fostering the environment where everybody who doesn't even know that we're working in silos are working together and sharing the information, enriching the supplier profiles. We are also offering the tool set where users, customers, suppliers, everybody who comes in the platform can take measurable steps and drive the supply chain into one direction, enriching the profiles and making the supply chains reliable and sustainable. We're also leaning on the shoulders of the data, particularly also with the superintelligence, but also enriching all of the targets, all of the suppliers with different data points. And in the end, the whole point of the action platform is the increased efficiency, where it is a singular point of contact, where we are cutting down the administration costs, but also the time, and we are completely removing the involvement of any other third party. As a product manager, I'm working both from the business side, but also from the technical side. And there are some things that you cannot solve sometimes with the technical side. And this is the supplier success department that has been established with the action platform. Step by step, we've learned a lot of things, and together with them, we've learned that some things cannot be done actually without this particular department. They're here for the supplier support, they're here for the supplier engagement, and one of the biggest things that I will talk about further is the profile enrichment with the maturity assessment. And this, as a product manager, I think is a key differentiator for this particular product that we are representing. I cannot build everything, but I can foster the communication between the supplier, the partner, the customer, and the user in the end. I think you have seen this funnel multiple times. It is the multi-step risk approach from the low risk to the high risk. And with our recommendation algorithm, we are going from the minimum severity up to the top severity, which is from the maturity assessment to the on-site audits. I've been asked multiple times, how does it work? Of course, this is something that is custom, and each and every one of you can also come to us and say, at least for the severity 1, we can start with the maturity assessments, but depending on your wishes and needs, we can adjust this specific algorithm based on your certain requirements. Action Platform started in 2022. In 2023, we also started with the pilots. We've learned so much, and in 2024, multiple things started to happen. With the maturity assessments, we screened tens of thousands of profiles, enriched the profiles with different reports, certifications. We have integrated these results from the action products, from the certifications into the supplier profiles. I'm also currently running the pilots with completely new self-assessment questionnaires, so if everybody wants to join in, it would be awesome as well. And by the end of this year, something that is leaning into the network effects is the shared actions, which means that multiple different organizations will be able to hop into one actions and share the scores or results. And that is something that I will discuss further, but in different other workshops. And by 2025, we hope to extend the action mix based on your feedback, because I'm really listening to what each and every one of you is saying, and we want to offer the product specifically for your needs. And now I will give it to Eden to talk about customer and partnership experience.
So I'm Eden Neary. I am the project manager for the Action Platform, and I've had the privilege of working very closely with our partners. So our partners were specifically selected because of the experts in their field. And today, over the next 30 minutes, you're going to hear from them about what have we achieved over the last year, what have we learned, and then what are we going to be doing in the year to come. Before I introduce you to some of our partners, I want to introduce Stefan Wright to the stage to talk about his experience as an Action Platform customer and some of the insights that he's learned conducting an Alula worker survey. Thanks, Stefan.
Yeah, thank you very much. Hello again. As mentioned just before lunch break, we already piloted one action, in particular a worker survey, together with Prewave and Alula. And I just want to give a quick recap about our learnings and our experience from a customer perspective. Starting in end of 2023, the first task was on our side, so the initial supplier selection. And we considered several parameters, so beginning with spend, so that we have certain degree of leverage on the supplier, going deeper into abstract and concrete risk data we have, so with the later meaning grievance cases for the particular supplier. And in the end, we selected 3 suppliers, 1 French energy service provider or energy provider, and 2 Austrian logistics provider. With the first 2 declining right away their participation, we also had some sort of result, because if they don't want to take part in this and also had some problems in the past, let's call it that way, this is also some sort of indication for us, and we took further actions with them outside of the Action Platform. With the logistics provider in Austria, we took the survey, and in the end, as far as I know, it was the first completed action overall in the Action Platform, so also a success for us. In total, so besides the work we had to do before, the worker survey had a duration of around about 2 weeks, and both support and also the process from Alula and Prewave was very good. So for us, it was just giving them the information, make the right connections between supplier and Prewave, Alula, and in the end, so it was not that much work for us. And also, we got some very insightful results for us as a customer, but also our supplier who took part in the survey get very interesting insights on their own operations, because often they also don't know what is happening with their drivers of their trucks. So to keep it short and to sum it up, what have been our key learnings. So in the beginning, supplier relation management is key. So if it is a supplier, your buyer don't even has a contact person, don't even has an email address and so on. So it doesn't make sense to make an action or to contact them with such measures, because info at will not answer in the correct way. On the other hand, also a clear stakeholder understanding. So especially for us, we are a hybrid procurement organization, as you heard before. It was very important also to have our lead buyers on board, to also have certain specialist departments who are often the contact person to the supplier on board, and have everybody on the same page. And last but not least, the follow-up activities with the supplier. So this action was for us the starting point to, on the one hand, speak with the supplier about the results, maybe clarify some issues, some topics which can be seen out of the report, and then also set up some sort of a roadmap together with the supplier. So a follow-up survey, also some actions held by the supplier itself, so training on working safety and so on, to really have this as a starting point, and hopefully also get it integrated into the target scorecard, so that we have this full picture in Prewave through the action platform, so from screening to measure setting, all in one hand. So that's it from my side. Thank you very much, and I can already hand over back to you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Stefan. So now we'll hear from our first partner of the day, Alberto Sartori from TÜV Süd. He'll be talking to us about the ESG supplier audit and how they're working with our supply chains to ensure the highest quality.
Let me say it's very exciting being here, coming back after a year and being part of this Prewave journey. We feel so much energy and momentum around sustainability and supply chain due diligence, and what Prewave has been doing in these years is amazing. If I look at TÜV Süd, we have a little bit more history than Prewave, about 150 years more. But when I look at Prewave, I feel that we have met and that we have found like the perfect partner for our ongoing mission. TÜV Süd was born more than 150 years ago as an association for steam boiler inspection. So back at those days, we were born already to protect safety. And again, after so many years, our mission is to promote sustainability, security for business, but for society in general. And as of today, we continue growing our activities in this field. We are so happy to partner with Prewave for new solutions to support your needs. And as explained, I will use very few minutes of your time to convince you that supplier audits can also be good for your business. We have been listening to customers and to you over the last year. We have been thinking how we can develop and deploy our auditing solutions to better meet your needs. Also in light of this evolving and changing scenario very rapidly. We continue to stand by our initial mission and to work as an independent company. Our goal is to be your eyes and ears in the field. So whatever needs you have in connection to your supply chain, you measure risks, you feel there is something you would like to learn more about your suppliers, we want to be your partners there. Being independent means providing you with honest and transparent feedback. Whatever it is, good news or bad news, we want to be there. And if it is bad news, it's actually best if you know it first, and if you know it in advance, so you can action upon it. We have heard a lot during today from the previous speakers. We learned so much about the different actions that can be put in place, starting from the great features of Prewave in terms of risk assessment and the prioritization of your suppliers. We have heard how different prevention and mitigation actions can be put in place. Some of them have been listed. They are quite traditional. So you have developed your own code of conduct. You have included the sustainability criteria into your contractual obligations with suppliers. And perhaps you have kicked off some self-assessments with your high-risk suppliers. And we understand that in some cases, as shown in the funnel from Prewave, there is a residual level of risk or critical risk of suppliers where you want to gain that extra level of confidence. And audits have been widely recognized as an additional tool in your tool set that can help you gather those information, build that level of confidence. At the same time, we also struggle with the lack of standardization in this field. There is so much reference to auditing, but actually we expect more guidance also from the regulators, what type of audits they will accept from you, or they will accept from us, what type of outcome will be acceptable from the stakeholders and from the public in general. We have developed a solution that has looked into the due diligence regulations and expectations. We call the ESG supplier audits, also taking into account your feedback and the learning from our pilot works. The ESG supplier audit is meant to address the general needs for risk prevention and mitigation. At the same time, we also know that incidents occur in supply chains, and sometimes you have to play a remediation role. So you want to look into the negative impacts, whatever has happened in your supply chain that can disrupt your operations or represent a risk to your reputation. And so we also want to leverage on our specific expertise. We mentioned Rana Plaza earlier today. This was 10 years ago, but it was a great lesson for our industry as well. And since then, a whole industry has been developed for focused investigation on human rights in the workplace. So if you're aware of a heightened risk of this kind in your supply chain, perhaps you want to deep dive on this specific topic. Or similarly, you have suppliers with high environmental impact, and you need a focused investigation by professional experts. And Prewave can help you identify those priority areas, and we can be your partner for on-site audits. Another reference that was made earlier today really struck me because it's something we have been considering as well, how often our risk assessment or our mitigation actions have the risk to be snapshot activities and static. So we take a picture of our suppliers and we build our decisions out of this picture. But companies evolve and change, and sometimes very rapidly. There is a risk you make decision out of outdated information. So we, as a professional audit firm, we will try to focus in our ESG supplier audits on your supplier level of risk, on their performance and compliance, but above all, on their systems in place to promote continuous improvement. That's what you're mostly interested into. You want to know where they stand today, but also where they can be 1 year or 2 years from now. Do they represent a risk? Even though you do not see any current non-compliance today, their performance seems acceptable today. However, the systems are weak. They are not robust. There is no commitment, no resources, no internal monitoring. So then you don't feel confident about their level of performance in the long term. So that's why we want to incorporate this maturity assessment into our auditing. And this is what we would like to integrate, and we are planning to integrate in the action platform going forward. We have done this building our audit checklist on available best practices, and we'll continue to adapt and evolve also our audit criteria and approach to the new regulations. The landscape you've seen is very complex and evolving, so we also want to keep ahead of these changes. At the same time, we recognize that you also have priority areas. You have your own code of conduct, you have suppliers in high-risk areas in different industries, and you have focus points, and this is where we continue to be a people-based service. So our professional project managers and auditors are able and available to listen to you, understand, and adapt our approach to specific needs. So that's why in the action platform, we expect that you get in touch with us when you identify your high-risk suppliers that you want to monitor, and then we kick off a collaborative approach. You still hear me? Yeah. So we will be in touch. We will agree which suppliers you want to audit, which are the risk areas you want to focus upon. Are there any specific information about your suppliers that you wish to be focused on? And any information that comes from Prewave, that comes from your internal sources, will help us feed the audit exercise and be more focused on your priorities. We also know that your time is very precious. We value very much collaboration. On the other hand, we are capable of handling the auditing process on our own if necessary. So once we clarify the scope and the goals of your audits, then we can manage the entire workflow on our own with our international organization. So your contact person in TÜV Süd will learn about your needs, will propose a solution, and then we will engage directly with the supplier for all the necessary activities to be performed, of course, in an independent manner. And as part of our collaborative approach, we welcome you to participate and witness some of our audits. You are welcome to come with our auditors, take this opportunity. It's a great learning. You will not just see how an audit works, but also you will learn more about your suppliers. And your suppliers will value your presence, your participation. They will see that this is a collaborative exercise to find areas for improving and strengthening the collaboration. And this is also the approach we maintain as our auditors are trained not to be inspectors, but to be partners for you as well as your suppliers. And any gap that is identified becomes an opportunity for improvement. This is just a representation of our typical activities, where you can see that we don't work out as the police. Most people don't like audits, especially when you receive them. It's okay to commission them, but when you receive them, nobody likes them. But in fact, supplier audits can be very useful also for your suppliers. So there is a lot that we can do in communicating with your suppliers and using these as opportunities for them to grow and to improve in their systems. Okay. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thanks, Alberto. So next we'll be hearing from Erica Venestrom and Gina Wang from Quizzer. They'll be talking to us about the digital training solution that they've deployed with some of our suppliers worldwide. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Eden. There we go. So, greetings from Sweden, home of Spotify, ABBA, Volvo, The Zipper, and also Quizzer. We are a workforce learning platform, and we educate people in global supply chains on basic human rights and beyond. And when I say people, I mean the often overlooked sectors like blue-collar workers, logistics people, janitors, cleaners, seasonal farm workers, etc. Even gig economy workforces lately. And of course, large workforces in manufacturing sites across the world. Why? Well, because awareness and understanding of basic human rights is a basic core component when it comes to creating any kind of behavioral change and ultimately mitigating risks, as we're talking about here today. Our platform works sort of like a gamified Netflix Lite, if you will. End users take trainings, the learning programs, either on their smartphones or iPads, offline, online. And the dashboard captures the data sets, the interactions with the platform, and presents it back to brands and suppliers transparently, visualizing trends, patterns, gain points, pain points, and obviously then tagged or flagged back to the global legislative frameworks that is regulating human rights. Talking about human rights, the kind of landscape on human rights have been seeing a significant uptick over the past decades. And not only in Europe and North America, but we see this trend all over the world, and we've speaking at length about it today. And from a, where was I? Yeah, and as you all know, so the reasons why we're all here today, honestly, is because, of course, the scopes that are within these legislations are not only your own company, but addressing your entire value chain. And to be able to get ahead of this, you do need scalable, reliable, robust solutions that are able to structure data, basically, and allow you to work interoperability or increase interoperability with your other supply chain management platforms and systems that you already have in place. Otherwise, it's basically not going to work. And from a risk palette perspective, our program portfolio is addressing many of the topics, or the key topics, I'd say, from a compliance perspective or compliance agenda today, both in terms of what brands and corporations need to see from supplier side, but also on the upskilling side, where suppliers are actually wanting to build knowledge and awareness and understanding within their workforce. Many of these programs are being scaled globally, I think, across 40 markets currently, and we do thousands of trainings every day, ranging from, as I said, factory workers to janitors, cleaners, logistics, etc. Child labor prevention is obviously a hot topic, and if you're interested, we have a global seminar with Amazon on Tuesday next week that you can apply for if you wanna join in and learn. So a quick glance at some of the data, speaking of which, thanks to a very forward-leaning, I'd say, client base, we have so far trained just shy of 3 million learning sessions across the world, and we're present in 40 markets. I think that as a learning platform, the data set that we are most kind of proud of is, of course, the fact that 98% of our end users actually say that they have learned something new when taking trainings on our platform. And with that, I'm going to hand over to Gina, my colleague, to tell you a little bit more about what we have done together with Prewave, which is a great collaboration. Just getting started. I think you can just click.
Microphone. Oh, finally, thank you. My name is Gina Wang, and I think my name is a little bit difficult to pronounce. So, Wang. Okay. Anyway, so here, and I'm a project manager, and this time I'm responsible for the pilot. Prewave and Quasar. What I can see, Prewave and Quasar's relationship, I think we find each other. We are a perfect match. Why that? Because Prewave uses AI identify the supply chain's risk, and we come in as a digital tool, offer solutions as an action. So I guess a lot of guys talk about action, how you're going to take this, how you're going to solve that. I believe here is your solution. For all the relationship, I would say, and we need to have a proof that it's actually working. So that's why this year we run a pilot together with 3 different suppliers and with completely different background, which is very interesting, from China, Tunisia, and Switzerland. And within a very short period of time, around 2 months, and we have trained overall 82 managers and workers and in their supplier, like at the factory and in the production line, and with over 400 sessions, training sessions. So we actually reached a pretty high number, and when it comes to the training sessions. Let's talk about what is the key learning and from our pilot program. And normally I'm very critical, but I will start with a good positive part first today. So I list 3 different reasons, but the first one I believe has been already proven by all of you still sitting here and listening this presentation. So let me make it short. So the second one I would like to highlight, because originally I'm from Beijing, China, and now I'm living in Stockholm. And from the sustainability level, and we can see it's really different. So during the past 10 years, and I have involved in at least 600 suppliers training sessions, like 600 suppliers, and with like by millions training sessions at Quasar. What we find out is the biggest motivation for myself because I'm seeing the change all the time. 10 years ago, like when I talk to suppliers, what is sustainability, what is CSR training, and they give me a very blunt look. I say, okay, and are you talking about business or money? And I say, no. But they say, okay, then goodbye. But I have a lot of funny stories with suppliers, trust me. So I have been kicked out from the supplier, like from the gate, and they don't let me in, and so on. But now it's actually slowly changing and changing. I see someone laughing. But with those 3 suppliers, and I see a great improvement as those 3 suppliers come from completely different regions, and they actually joined our program voluntarily. So there's no mandatory request this time. So basically, like, I saw a lot of buyers today. So because I work with suppliers day by day, so I would like to speak up to them. Like, I will speak up for them. So I believe a lot of suppliers, they actually want to improve. They want to get better. But due to they have a very limited resource and limited knowledge, and also sometimes they have a very poor communication skill. So they can't really improve that much by themselves. So I would like to suggest here is like, I think we should be the one to take the lead. Or like all the brand and like companies, organization, and also Prewave will play a very big role to take the lead, and we offer them the good solution, the good tool, for example, Quasar, to help them to actually get better. I think with a little bit of patience and with a bit of time, and we will achieve what we both want to achieve in the future. And then the third one is, I think everyone already know, like after COVID, we do have a very huge increased acceptance and with digital training. So this is, all the highlight is gone, and now we talk about challenges, which is my favorite topics. And here is like, normally, and when we see the challenges, I believe a lot of speakers already mentioned that, is a collaboration and the communication. And in the supplier side, and we see the big, yes, of course. And like, we see the big challenges, like they have different layers that have to communicate and go through that and to actually get what we want. And for the brand, of course, and we have struggling with different departments. And for me, I talk to procurement, sourcing, HR, and sometimes they say, we can't find a meeting room for our meeting. So it's all the challenges. But in this way, and Quasar, and we can actually provide the services to help you to go all the way until you get like on the right track. Yes, I know I'm running out of time. And in the end, we have like 3 questions. It's a real question, and from this program, it's very simple. But I would like to everyone to see that and also give the answer and in your head, and also think about, do your supplier know those? So here comes the question. If someone answers wrong, that's a problem, okay? And here is the final data. I think the first one is interesting.
To sum it up, I think obviously this is just a snippet of data provided from some of the trainings. But if you translate it over, this is, if you want to work and mitigate risk, you really have to start at the bottom. Because that's where the behavioral change needs to start. Thank you so much for listening, and reach out if there's anything you want to know more about.
Thank you. Thanks, Erica and Gina. Now we are running out of time, but we have some pretty exciting news with the introduction of our new e-learning platform. So before I wrap up, very quickly, we're going to have Sebastian Runz talk about our new e-learning platform. Sorry.
Okay, I just have one slide, so I don't need this. Really easy. Thanks. So let me quickly introduce you to our e-learnings we developed together with Prewave and a design agency. So these e-learnings are to train your own employees and your suppliers on the German Supply Chain Act. First of all, why is that important? The law basically has this obligation to train at two different stages. You can see it here. So in section 6, paragraph 3, the German Supply Chain Act says as a one of the possible preventive measures is to have the delivery of training in the relevant business areas. And then another citation of the law is to have this training vis-à-vis your direct suppliers. So the law actually mentions it, and our idea was to have a really simple, automated, interactive training for your suppliers and for your own business area that can be easily rolled out. So what we did, we developed 3 different modules, 2 for your own business area and 1 for your suppliers. Among the 2 modules for your own business area, we have 1 basic training. It actually explains the content of the law to everyone in your company, so it could be received by everyone in any department, just telling the person conducting the training what the law is about, what the obligations are, what the sanctions may be if you don't comply. Then we have an add-on training for the procurement department on the role of procurement, how procurement can support the implementation of the Supply Chain Act. And then in the next 2 or 3 weeks, we will come up with a new training for the suppliers that basically explains suppliers the contents of the law, but also how this affects your relationship with the supplier, because you may need information of the supplier, so it raises awareness about new demands you might have. And this new e-learning for suppliers, it will be available in 10 different languages. So that's basically our approach, our way to empower your employees and your suppliers and to comply with the training obligations of the law. That's it. Yeah.